guys, and welcome to another episode of the Top Producers Nation podcast. This, of course, is the podcast that is made for top producers, with top producers, and by none other than Tampa Bay's real producers here in the local market. We also are powered by Tampa Bay Real Producers, which is our local franchise here in Tampa Bay. And as you may know, if you follow our show, we have a partner series as well. We bring on some of our preferred partners of Tampa Bay Real Producers here on the local level. And that's what we get to do this morning with our two guests, Michael and Theresa Bock with Bock Mortgage, not Brock. Bock Mortgage is who they are. How are you guys doing today?
Very good. Thank you.
Yeah, no doubt. It's great to have you guys here. Michael and Theresa are some of our newer partners with Tampa Bay Real Producers. They just partnered up with us in 2024, kind of late 2024. And we've been working together now for a few months, getting things rolling. So we're excited to have you as part of the platform. Great to have you on the show so we can dive in a little bit to your background first for people who might not know your story at all. I know it's interesting as to how you got into lending in the first place. So we'll start there. So let's talk about, I know you aren't from Tampa. So where are you guys from? How'd you eventually get into Tampa? And how did this whole thing happen where lending became, a priority eventually? Who wants to start?
Probably.
You want me to
Start with Big Mike over here?
He was the first.
I was the first.
All right, we'll start with Big Mike.
First one to dip my toe in. So, so I originally moved down here from Colorado. That was in 1998. Finished my high school year over in Tarpon Springs, and then from there I went right into the to the automobile industry. So I was a master auto mechanic for many years, turning a wrench, and then eventually kind of hit that glass ceiling and decided to go out and start my own tire companies. And so I launched 2 tire companies in the Tampa Bay area. Ran those for many years, eventually sent myself to college, and then started a financial advising practice. Once I started the financial advising practice, I found that a lot of the individuals that I spoke to were looking to have, they had large sums of money that they were looking to purchase homes with.
Sure.
And I said, well, I'd like to help these people out with that as well, and add mortgages to my tool belt. And I eventually, I got my mortgage license and started doing a couple mortgages. And loved it. I loved it so much that
Were you still doing the mechanic thing at the time, or you had left that when you started the financial firm?
No. So the tire companies were still running. I had managers that were running the tire companies, and then eventually sold those off. Okay. And then I was just kind of it
focused on the financial.
Focused
firm
on
there.
the financial firm. The tire companies ended up selling those, and then once I found mortgages, I loved it so much. I went all in on mortgages and just kind of let the whole securities license and financial advising practice go.
What year was that again?
So I started in mortgages in 2018.
Okay.
Yeah.
And it wasn't Bock Mortgage right away, right?
It was not. No,
right.
I was with a local brokerage I started with here in Tampa Bay, and loved working there. And we actually tried the other side, the direct lending side, because there's the brokerage side and the direct lending side.
Yep.
We tried that for about 6 months, just to see if the grass was greener on the other side, because you hear stories, and it wasn't for us. We definitely love the broker world.
Gotcha. And so then how did Theresa get brought into this equation?
So my story is totally different, but just as crazy. I actually moved to Florida after I graduated college. And while in college, I still didn't really know what I wanted to do with my life. Started in regular education, then went to music education, then was like, it's taking way too long to get out of college, and ended up graduating in economics with a minor in music. So when I came to Florida, I started, I was just trying to find a job. I started in property management.
Did you come here for the weather, or was there other reasons that brought you?
We had family down here.
Gotcha.
So, and I loved it. Property management was fun, but I was working for apartment complexes. So I had to be there like the day after Christmas and on Sundays. And I just was like, I just don't think I'm going to be able to raise a family like that. And I loved music. It had been a big part of my life. And in Florida, you can teach if you have enough hours and get certified. So I did that, became a teacher, music teacher, did that for about 10, 12 years.
Nice.
Got really bored in the summers. And so I started a photography company, and I did that for many, many years, had a portrait studio in Tampa. And unfortunately, I lost my mom and just needed a break from being self-employed. So I went back to teaching in 2019. Yes, 2019. And it was totally different. It'd been 7 years. And I was like, I just don't think I can do this. And it was February 2020. And he was like, just make it through to the end of the year. And I'm like, I can't. I need to go back to be to being self-employed. So
You had the itch.
I did. So I quit February 2020, if you remember when that was.
Yeah, a month before COVID, huh?
Yes. And so actually my last day was the end of February. I had a couple of portrait sessions the next week, and then the world shut down.
Wow.
I had no job. At that time, I was a single mom, and I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do. So for a while, I just didn't really do anything. And I saw him over here, like working in mortgages.
So you guys were dating at the time?
Yes.
Okay.
So we were just dating at the time.
Okay.
And I had experience in running a business and marketing. I did a lot of branding photography. So for me, I just saw as I could be an asset to what he was doing.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're like, well, I'm going to go get my mortgage license. So I did in 2020 and started helping him and never looked back. Like, I absolutely love it.
And the rest is history.
The rest is history. Yeah. I knew that was a long
Did you end
story.
up selling the photography business, or did you close it?
I still dabble.
You still do it sometimes? Yeah.
I do a lot of headshots for realtors.
Sure.
And still do some families that I've done for years, but
Gotcha.
nothing as serious as I was before.
So when both you guys came to Florida, you didn't know each other yet?
No.
Okay. So you met here.
Yes.
When did you start dating?
Like 2019, end of 2019.
Okay. So it was right when you were about starting the new business.
Mhm.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Gotcha.
Right before COVID.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's kind of a funny story.
A lot of change happening all at the same time.
Yes. Yes.
If you can, we knew that if we could make it together through COVID,
That's right.
as a couple, and day to day, staying, inside, working side by side, that there was nothing that would stop us.
Yeah. So what's the dynamic? But I think it's fascinating because you're not necessarily the first couple that I've talked to who work together and obviously are married and have to live together or work together, the whole 9 yards, right? But I know that that's not always easy. There's probably different challenges and dynamics that might bring up. What's that experience been like for you, for both of you, kind of having your own separate entrepreneurship journey?
Mm-hmm.
You've had success, you've done things on your own, and then having to now bring it together, work in a similar brand. Have you guys always seen eye to eye on where you want this company to go? Or has there been some issues there at times?
I don't think we've always seen eye to eye, but we're very good at communicating with each other. And so when we do,
Rob wants you to move closer to the mic. Yeah. He's flagging you down over here.
Was I not supposed to move the mic there?
Yes, there you go.
Yeah. So we've never, sometimes we'll not see eye to eye, but for the most part, we're great at communicating with each other, and we can work things out. And I think it's been great. I mean, it hasn't ever been really a struggle. We've just really complement each other when it comes to the business.
Yeah, and I think that's really the key too, is to find that complement. What were you going to add, Theresa?
So I think at the beginning, I have a really, really good memory. So I can remember
Just my mobile hard
who's
drive.
married to someone. I can remember
That sometimes
their
can be
life
rough as a wife,
story.
right?
Didn't you forget about
that?
Yes, just forget it.
And I am also, the way my brain works, I can just be really creative and structuring. So I think when I first started with him, I kind of took on the role of support, doing the applications. And, he was the face, the beauty.
I don't know about that.
I don't know about the beauty, but
But I think as we have grown together, we've learned what each other's strengths are.
Yep.
And when sometimes, I'm in the spotlight, sometimes he's in the spotlight. Now we have a support team behind us, and I feel like for the first time, we're really in the right place.
it's
That's
really,
cool.
it's really complimented us because, there's clients that love, talking and working with her, and there's clients that like working with me.
Sure.
So it's just kind of added a whole nother dynamic to our business.
Yeah. Are there specific parts of the business that you've created specific roles for, where you cover these things, you focus on these things? Are you guys pretty much involved with everything together?
Well, we're always, I would say, side by side.
I'm the hostage negotiator.
Yeah, he's really good at talking people off the ledge, because things come up in the process that you aren't expecting, and he just has a very calming demeanor about himself. When he's on
that's
the
a
phone
skill
with
set
him.
in of itself.
Yes, yeah. And I guess I'm the memory of the company.
Her memory is amazing. Yes.
that's got to be important too when it comes to certain documents that you're trying to find and figure out and all that jazz, right?
Yeah.
The organizational side of the business.
Yes.
Yeah,
Is there
in the creative, like for my photography,
sure?
just when we're doing,
She's very good at remembering guidelines and specifics about what programs can do what guidelines can do what, and so it's really helpful when you're trying to structure loans.
Yeah.
So she's got an amazing memory.
What do you think separates you guys as an option, for lenders out there? We know that there's no shortage of lending, services, right, that are out there for agents to be able to choose from and to work with. And so is there anything that you feel like that you would always like to communicate to the agents that you meet for the first time, or even the ones that you've been with for a while, and just want to remind them of like, what is it that you feel like you bring to the table that might be a little bit different than others? Whether that's even like product specific or just personality or whatever it is that you feel like your unique niche is.
Yeah, I mean, so I know that like I said, loan structure is kind of our superpower. And we do have a lot of clients that come to us, or also real estate agents that come to us to save deals, and that's how we become really good friends with them. But I think ultimately, what really separates us is the fact that we're a family, and we come from a really strong family background, and we work side by side, day by day. And we really care about our realtors, and we try to nurture those realtor roots. And we know the fruit will eventually come, but we want those strong relationships. And it's not just it's not just the transaction for us. All of our realtor partners, we want to have that deep relationship with. So,
and we take time to get to know them, and I think that helps. And it's not necessarily that we have like this magic program. We do have a variety of things being on the broker side, but it really boils down to our support and that we really do care about our partners, and we work to help their businesses grow as well. We even have like a Friday. It started out kind of as a book club in one of our offices, but now it's more of a mastermind where we just come together and discuss, and we listen to their struggles, and we try to help them not get business, but really try to help them grow. Because
I love that.
Yeah, we've been entrepreneurs.
These are agents generally that are coming to the mastermind. Very cool.
Yeah, we've been entrepreneurs, most of our life. Since 2005, I own my own businesses, and so we know the struggle. We've seen the struggle, and so some of these newer agents that have come in that are just getting into that struggle, they have the questions, and we try to walk them through and help them as much as we possibly can on how to do the day-to-day activities, and just work through those problems
and encourage them, give them hope. I love sending them text messages like, I can really see you're doing a great job, like keep it up. And it really is from a genuine place, because I've been there where you really want to succeed, but you can't figure out when it's going to happen. Yeah.
And encouragement is one of those things that most people just don't get, right? So if you can be a source of that, I think there's a lot of power in that, for sure.
Yeah, when you're self-employed, you're the one that has to get up in the morning, and you're the one that has to tell yourself that you're employed, you're working today, and so you don't have somebody giving you that encouragement. You don't have that praise, so to get that from somebody, I think is important.
Yeah, without a doubt. And so it sounds like you're very agent-centric on how you try to build your business and how you've worked your brand now. When an agent decides to work with you, it's like, they're getting the whole Bock mortgage package, right? Both of you guys are serving in different ways. So talk us a little bit about like just what are some things that you guys love to do to help work with agents, to serve the agents, whether these are specific programs or events or things that you've done to work on the relationships? Because you've mentioned that the relationship is a really critical part of how you try to build the business. When you think back on the relationships you have now and how you got them and how they've grown, in strength, is there anything that comes to mind that you feel like has really helped you in developing them, or just kind of being genuine?
Well, I think there are multiple things that we do. One is helping their events. So if they have an event for their customers, like we'll support them that way. We'll be there. We'll bring drinks or something like that. We do a lot of education and classes that we try to dig deep into.
Does that have something to do with your teaching background?
Oh, in my classes
plays a role, I sure.
Hilarious because I give tests.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
You do bring the teaching background back out.
Totally do.
She does. She puts together some amazing classes. I tell people I'm there just for the witty banter. I'll step in and talk a little bit, but she really puts together these amazing classes. So
that's awesome. Now, do you do that at brokers' offices, or how does that format usually look?
Yeah, we'll do them at the different brokerages.
Yeah. Okay. So do you reach out to people that you're already working with, or is this something that you use as a tool to maybe like get in the door with certain brokerages that you don't have a relationship with yet, but you'd like to? or a little bit of
we
both?
do it with both. Yeah.
Yes
Yeah.
and yes.
Yes. Yes,
That
on
makes
both,
sense.
Yeah.
No, it makes sense. And I'd imagine most brokers at least have an interest in, yeah, I mean, if you want to educate my agents and come on in, even if they commit to working with you or not, at least that
Right.
gives the opportunity for you to provide value, right?
Right.
Exactly. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Definitely. Like, yeah, we don't want to just show up with a box of donuts. We will go in there and we will teach a class and try to add that value and help them out, even if they end up not using us in any way or fashion.
Yeah.
We're just there to answer questions.
I love that. Is it a fairly and you mentioned you're the one who kind of designs a lot of these classes. So is the content pretty similar when you go to these different offices, or is it always different based on the market and what's happening at the time?
Well, I would say when we first started doing them, it was hit or miss depending on what the market is. But we've kind of been in the same market for a while. So we just start off with we call it Mortgage 101 and basics.
Mhm.
And then once we get into our Mortgage 201 class, it's more specific to marketing using loan programs and really teaching them about the different loan programs and how they can market, try to get more people and more buyers.
That's smart.
Sellers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because in a market like right now, we're seeing a lot of fix and flips. We're seeing a lot of renovation loans,
A lot of concessions.
construction to perm type
Being
stuff.
given,
Yeah, concessions are given. So, teaching them how to use that to benefit themselves, when it comes to, putting together deals or who they're going after, as far as their target market, just to kind of change directions with the industry as the industry is changing. So,
Yeah, no, I love that. I think the concept of that Mortgage 101, 201 class setup is cool because you have, I'm assuming, newer agents that might come to their broker's offices. My assumption is that when the broker throws an educational class, you might not get as many of the more top producers or the veterans that are there regularly. But that one-on-one setup really could be appealing to agents to not only work with professionals like yourself, but then learn more about how they can provide value. But then you have that 201 option, and that really could be geared more towards the top producer, or even just a more experienced agent who feels like they have a good grasp of the basic lending options. But how can they distinguish themselves? And you mentioned using it as a marketing tool, which I think is very, very smart. So I love that concept. You got to now think of a 301, and take things to the next level, like the top 10% or something, right? Top 2%, I mean, all that jazz. That's cool. So you do the classes, and I know that the opportunity to build these relationships has always been the key to you. So when you think about your experience in working with these agents, what do you think is the most important thing that helps these deals go smoothly versus the opposite, where you've seen situations where things fall apart or things become challenging? Is there a distinction there that you can point out as to characteristics you've noticed are really great versus ones that you've seen really be a challenge?
I do. Yes. And she's probably going to go down the same route I was thinking. But so, I think what really makes the difference is that communication and having the conversations with the realtors. A lot of times when they are putting the deal together, before they even make the offer, we're having conversations with them up front, talking about the deal that they're going to present to the sellers, how they want to present it, structuring the seller's concessions and putting the contract together to offer to the seller, the selling side.
Yep.
And then a lot of times the selling agent will call us, just to confirm and make sure everything is good with this buyer. And, we'll give them all of our praise and make sure that they feel comfortable accepting that offer. That was really important, especially during the COVID times. We were sending videos over to selling agents talking about how wonderful our clients were, that, if you accept their offer, this deal is going all the way to the closing table. We don't like deals to fall apart. We rarely have deals ever fall apart. And I think it is just because we communicate up front with the buyer's agent to put that deal together in the beginning.
Yep.
And we've seen crazy things in our history of being loan officers. So we know what to look for. And when we're structuring, we know the guidelines. So we know this person has to wait 6 months, or this person has a problem because they just switched from W-2 to 1099. We catch the problems before it's even, under contract. And I think that makes a big difference.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, a lot of that
It takes an experienced eye to sometimes see that this is heading in the wrong direction.
Yeah, it's not just that online pre-approval that the person goes and gets, and then they go and put an offer in on a house, then it falls apart later on, and everybody's out money and time. So we make sure that the client, once they're pre-approved with us, is going to go all the way to the closing table.
Yeah, and you mentioned that you work a lot with people whose deals might be falling apart. From a I'm assuming another lender or whatever the situation is. So is it because you guys are brokers where you have the ability to maybe provide a different solution that an in-house lender might not be able to offer? Is that one of the biggest distinctions as to why you can help in those situations, or is there other things that you think play a role in that?
I definitely think that is a part of it. Is, when you have a lender that has overlays, or let's say it's coming from a bank or credit union, they're okay with you as long as you fit inside their small box.
Yeah.
And they don't always follow just the regular guidelines. They put their own overlays on top of that, and they'll only lend to a smaller group. And so if they can't get it approved, a lot of times you'll have that fallout, and the realtor will reach out to us to come and save the deal.
Yep.
Same thing with builders. We've worked with builders who haven't been able to get deals through, and we'll be their fallout lender, and we'll get their their buyers through.
Well, and here's a specific story. So nurses, a lot of times when they start, their pay is very different. They have weekends, they have all of the different. And so we got a deal where the client was turned down because her offer letter just said, oh, she's full time. Well, she had varying hours. Sometimes she would work 32 hours. Sometimes she would work 38, sometimes 40. All we needed to do is to understand that offer letter needed to be more specific. She's guaranteed only, at least 32 hours. She's never paid under that. So we were able to use her income because we were able to give her instruction on how that offer letter needed to read. Yeah. So something that simple, but totally we understand.
And it's crazy how something that simple can ruin a deal. Oh yeah. Right? Like it's like, why couldn't I just have that be more specific and figure it out?
Started, we would have no idea, right? I mean, that's just so random, but
yeah, no, it's true. It comes with experience for sure. It makes sense. And so the path you took to become a broker, you mentioned earlier that you also did the in-house side of things. And is it just like that freedom of knowing that you have different options that you can now provide, different, types of products and services, or is that the most appealing thing about that whole broker option?
Yeah, I think what really happened is when we made that leap and we went over to the direct lending side, we had so many deals that we weren't able to help clients with. They came to us and we would look at this deal and we knew we could do it on the broker side. We were looking at this and everything was lining up to happen, and it would get turned down on the direct lending side with the company we were with. And we just kept watching it happen time and time again because of the guidelines that this company had, where in the broker world, they're basically just following what the ultimate guidelines of Fannie and Freddie are. Yeah. Versus what the specific lenders guidelines are. So we just watched deal after deal go, and we said to ourselves, well, we could have done that in the broker world. Right. We've done that in the broker world.
You see that enough times, and it motivates you pretty quick, right?
So yeah, it's time to go.
We need choices.
We need choices. We need to be able to structure it the way we want, use the lenders that we want to use.
And mid contract, we can send to a different lender if it's falling apart, because some of our lenders do have those overlays. But if something comes up we didn't anticipate, we can switch it to a different lender, restructure it, send it over here, and we don't lose the deal. Yep. And we can help save the realtor's reputation. So.
Yeah, which is a big part of this too, is making sure that they can count on you, right? Yeah. To get to the finish line, which is what everybody's goal is.
That's always been like the most important thing to us. I mean, I can't tell you the countless times where we've had deals that we knew if we did something on our end as far as cutting or we had to make it work, even if it hurt us financially. We want to make sure that realtor is going to get their deal through. We're going to want to make sure that realtor, we try to protect that realtor and their income, sometimes to the detriment of ourselves, but we care more about that relationship. Yeah. It's one deal, whereas with that, that relationship, we want to be partners.
They represent a lot more.
Yeah. We want to be with them for forever.
Yeah, totally. No, it makes a lot of sense. So you're not going back into the tire business anytime soon? You think,
I don't think forever now. I don't think my back can do it.
What areas do you guys focus on? I know Tampa Bay obviously is a big focus. Do you serve the whole state of Florida? Do you serve other states as well?
We do. We serve the whole state of Florida. When it comes to your residential loans, when you get into investment loans, we'll do anywhere in the U.S. Okay. But as far as your residential primary residence, Florida is the only one we're working in right now.
Do you guys strategically build relationships with investors as well, or does that kind of do a little bit more organically, just randomly, or what?
It's been more organic.
Mhm.
Yeah, we've never really gone out and looked for investors, but a lot of our realtors, they have investor clients that they'll bring to us, and then we started to get a little bit of a name for getting these investor deals through, and so it just kind of started to build and build, and it's been keeping us pretty busy lately. I know we had a lot of storm damage recently, and
a lot of investors are targeting this area right now.
They really are, and even just these people that are trying to get their homes back up and going, we're able to help with those types of programs. So
right.
And then some of our clients that came to us for primary residences have become investors.
Mm-hmm.
So that's been fun to watch.
That is cool too. Mm-hmm. You can help them on the building wealth side as well. In general, is it a fair assumption to say that when you're dealing on the investor world, is like 20% down pretty standard, or is there other options out there that even on the investment side?
That's going to be your standard.
Yeah.
There's
the assumption is you should prepare for that, right?
Yeah. There's ways for your borrowers to create an investment property out of their already existing primary
or a secondary home.
Yeah, exactly. It used to be where your secondary homes were right on par with your investment, loan, your primary loans. But you were putting 10% down. You were getting the same rate you were with the primary, but you were getting an amazing
investment property.
Yeah, getting an amazing investment property out of it. But the government kind of caught on to that one.
Yeah.
They said, well,
they're always ruining a good deal, aren't they?
Yeah, the rates are not going to be like your primary residence. Now they're going to be more like investment properties.
Right.
So they took that away, and the only benefit it really has is that 10% down now.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, that makes sense. Is there any specific product or service that you feel like you've been offering that is kind of different or unique, or something that's been more popular lately? Anything that come to mind?
Probably our loans with our non-QM lender.
Yes.
He's very.
Yeah, we have a
creative.
Really amazing non-QM lender that we use for doing our different DSCR loans, our fix and flip loans. Our fix and flip loan is almost like a hard money loan, except for you don't have to deal with somebody up in New York that's going to break your kneecaps. So
no Tony's going to make a phone call.
No Tony's going to come down and break your kneecaps. It's an amazing loan program, and so if you find a property that they want to invest in, they can get all the funding to fix and flip that, and then eventually if they want,
so the funding buys the property and handles the rehab.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep. And then if they
probably 20% down is the same concept.
It is. Yeah.
Unless they're doing short-term rentals, like a DSCR for short-term, it's a little bit more, or the brand new investors, depending on if the mortgage, maybe it doesn't quite support the property, or the property doesn't quite support the mortgage, they may put, 30% down.
Yeah.
But it's great too, because it doesn't go towards their credit. Like it doesn't.
This particular one doesn't report to their personal credit. So
gotcha.
You have these investors that have multiple.
It's just based on the numbers of the deal, right?
Well, yeah, but like if they did a credit pull, it wouldn't even show up as a property on their credit, and so it doesn't hurt their DTI if they're going to buy another primary or something down the road.
Yep.
It definitely helps in that aspect.
Or their score.
Or their credit score.
Yep.
And those all typically close in an LLC.
Do you guys also deal with commercial loans at all?
Not really.
Not as much? Okay.
We've thought about it, but it hasn't really been a road we've gone down.
Gotcha. Yeah, I just want to ask to bring it up and see what the story is. So, for people who don't really know you guys that much yet personally, I just want to spend at least a couple of minutes on that side. So, we heard a little bit earlier about your story of how you started dating right prior to COVID and that all that fun times. What do you guys love to do for fun? What keeps you kind of busy now when you're not just jamming in the Bock mortgage world?
That does take a lot of our time, but we love being out on the water, and so we like going out boating.
You guys live in Apollo Beach, you said, right?
We do. Yeah. So we like to take the boat out and go cruise around Tampa Bay, and we're definitely big foodies. We do love we love going and hitting the restaurants.
So we don't really go fish. We just get in the boat and go to restaurants.
Okay.
And cruise.
Yes, we'll cruise around.
Cruise.
That's not a bad.
It doesn't mean I can't fish. I love fishing, but
I think we get on the boat. We like
to just cruise and have a good time. We'll shoot over to St. Pete or shoot up to Tampa or just go up one of the rivers.
It's a fun thing to take agents on with you too.
Yes.
They like boats.
Yes, they do.
I've noticed.
Yes.
Yep.
Now, you mentioned that you had children before you guys got together, right? So you had children into the relationship. Did you as well, Michael?
I do.
Yes.
You do? Okay. So do you have the children living with you now, or are they older, or what's their story?
So we have one full time.
Okay.
He's in college.
Okay.
And then the other three. So I had 3. He had 1. So I got the
3
easy,
bonus kids.
like adding 1 to 3. It's,
That piece of cake.
But adding 3 to 1.
That's a lot. That's a big commitment.
Yeah.
He must have really liked you.
Yes.
Yeah. And so most of them are out of the house, though, you said, right? You have 1 at home?
We have 1 at home, and then the other 3 are at home, but 50% of the time.
Gotcha.
So,
Okay.
Yeah. So we have the share.
What ages are they? What age groups? You said
So we have
20,
Josh is 20.
18, 17, 16.
oh wow, so they're all pretty real close together. So
Oh,
it's
yeah.
kind of like my story, but 10 years from now.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
2 girls, 2 boys, and so they all get along really well.
Yeah.
Are they
We
going
have
to
a lot
follow
of
the
fun.
family business and go into the mortgage game or what?
We have some interest. Yeah, I think 2 of them.
Well, I
We've been
think
talking-
3.
3.
The youngest, like no.
The youngest one that wants nothing to do with it. Yeah, she's on her own path.
She's got her own journey.
Yes, yeah. And the
God
other one
bless
wants
her.
to be, the other next youngest. Sometimes she talks about wanting to get into the business, but then she wants to be a physicist as well. Goes kind of back and forth.
You got a
between the
smart
2.
one on your hands there.
Yeah, she is. She's a smarty, and but she wants to get into investing,
Yeah.
into real estate.
There you go.
So she's already been putting money away from her jobs to
Nice.
put for a down payment on a multifamily. So,
Nice.
And the boys are
If she only knew lenders that could help her fund
I
some
know.
of her
right,
projects.
right. That's why she tells us about it all the time. She
Oh, yes.
expects our help.
yes, she definitely.
So, but the boys are actually studying to take the test. So
Okay.
my oldest he's taking the class right now.
Nice. So they might step into the next layer, huh? The
We'll
next
see.
generation. Is
Yeah.
that the vision of where Bock Mortgage is going in years to come? Like, what does that look like for 2025, 6, et cetera?
We definitely want to keep on expanding, but we want to keep it close, like that tight knit family, not necessarily our own personal family, but our back end team, the ones that we work with, we're all really, really close.
We have a couple of other loan officers,
Mhm.
just 2 more.
Okay. Are you still growing the team? Or are you guys content with the way it is now? That's a question you've been debating, huh?
It is.
Right.
It is. We've been debating it, whether we want to grow as a team with more loan officers, or whether we want to keep it with the loan officers that we have and just grow the support.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where we're at, is trying to decide which route we want to go. We started off with the the loan officers and going that direction, and we're not sure if that's the route we want to go.
It's always tricky because you got to make sure the people are going to have the same level of commitment to the service that
Yes.
you two have, right? So they obviously represent you.
Mhm.
And that's not always an easy thing, to make those decisions. So bigger isn't always better, right?
Mhm.
Depends.
Correct.
Couple rapid fire questions. So do you have a favorite book, author, seminar that you feel like has made an impact on you, personally or professionally? You guys can each share the same one or different one if you
I was
want.
like, I'm going first.
You can go first.
Go
You go
ahead.
first.
We'll go to the
So-
teacher on the book
Yes.
question.
Well,
Yes.
I love listening to books, self-help, business, finance, get rich quick, whatever. But I just started listening to one called Killing the Sacred Cows.
Killing sacred cows.
Killing Sacred Cows. And it has revolutionized my thought process.
The business book?
Yes.
Okay.
It really deals
I've
with
heard of
the
it before.
abundance.
I've never read it though. Yeah.
Abundance mindset, but always coming from your value of what you're giving others. And I think that we always had that thought, and that's where we were working towards, but just even it stresses it even more, the importance of not focusing on, maybe your goal is, if you're a realtor, your goal is to sell 100 houses for the year. Are you focusing on those getting those 100 houses, or are you focused on what you're doing and how you're treating your clients and your value and what how you're serving? That will follow.
Yeah.
And it really helps you try to be the best version of yourself first before you start just looking at the fruit.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a principle I tried to teach a lot of my sales guys over the years. It's about, like, when they had these sales goals of getting 100 deals or whatever, viewing it as, how are you serving 100 families, right? And then viewing it from that perspective first, I think makes a big difference. So I love that.
Yeah, if you nurture the roots, eventually that fruit will come, and don't focus on that fruit. You just really want to work on focusing on the roots.
And from a genuine heart too, because you can say, let's serve, because we even did this, let's serve 30 families a month. And we were saying that because we were supposed to say that, instead of like,
being genuine.
How are my daily activities supporting that? Like, when I'm on the phone, am I really listening, or am I just trying to get off the phone so I can finish my deal? Like, really trying to take the time to really serve and to listen.
Yeah, that self-analysis is not always easy. But that's where the real value is having a way to do that. Either it's through a daily or a weekly debrief or something to actually analyze, are my actions aligned with what I say my goals are? Yeah, it's very powerful.
Good.
You have a different book, Michael? Same?
No, I do have a different book.
Okay.
You know, and this one came before Killing Sacred Cows for us, and it was the Profit First book.
Oh yeah,
and
it's a great one.
That book, she brought it to my attention. She said, "Oh, we need to read this book," and I said, "Nah, you know, I don't." You know, she told me a little bit of the premise of it.
Mhm.
I said, "Well, you know, I was like, okay, we'll go ahead and read it," but I wasn't really thinking it would make a change.
Mhm.
You know, I thought, okay, I'll just read it to kind of appease her. We'll see how it goes. It definitely made a huge impact in our business.
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah, very practical steps that you can take
absolutely, and that's one of the things why
change your
you know,
habits.
it really made us think. You know, do we want to grow larger, or do we want to just really be good at serving who we're serving, and just, you know, have it just be, you know, a smaller team, big support, more organic, and bigger is not always better.
Yeah.
You know, and so that was and then that book really dives into having different plates that you're putting your
Mhm.
funds into, you know, and it really changed the profitability of our company.
Yeah, no, it's very smart. It's a great book. I've read it as well, and having then the ability, the discipline to set up what they recommend, what he recommends to set up, is the hard part of it, right? That's the actual execution of the steps. But if you do it, it definitely can revolutionize your cash flow and
takes
just
the
mentality.
stress off, because you know at the end of the month everything is where it needs to be, and you don't have to stress about it. You know, it's been great.
Yeah, and they actually have a whole accounting program now, I think, behind it too, where you can even get recommended to like their accredited accountants and CPAs that make sure that that's actually happening, I guess, in the business. So yeah, great recommendations. Do you have a favorite movie or TV show?
I'll let you take that one first.
I went first last time.
She has to think about that one, Michael.
I know.
Oh, favorite TV show. We love like our job is definitely a stressful job, you know, and we like to
something in the comedy.
We do
space.
we love to decompress, and so we'll watch a lot of we'll watch the same shows over and over again sometimes. So we'll watch like The Office, you know, we'll watch Superstore. Superstore is a good one, or Brooklyn Nine-Nine, you know.
Yeah,
so
those are all great.
Anything funny.
Yeah. I think
love it.
Yeah.
Just if somebody wants to get on your good side, that's the gift series to be able to get for you guys, is something in the comedic realm. Huh?
Something so we can kind of shut off, just decompress, you know. You know, but I do love there's some. I don't know, I'm trying to think of a good movie. I watch all kinds of stuff.
Oh, he does. He does watch all kinds of stuff.
I was with my kids recently, and my wife doesn't want me to show them this movie yet, but the old Dumb and Dumber movie. I can see my two boys wearing like an orange and bright blue tuxedo one of these days, because sometimes they act like these guys. They remind me. The two of them are so close in age.
What's the quote we always say?
So
you're telling me?
You're telling me there's a chance. Yes, that
movie's probably one of the most quoted movies in the history.
We'll live by
the history of cinema.
In our business, we'll live by that. If there's a chance, we'll find it. If there's a way to make it happen, we will find it. We hate to say no to anybody, you know, so we'll try to find a way or a path to make that loan happen.
Different direct. Yeah. Yeah. Mortgage.
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
Yeah.
All right, we'll put a bow as we run out of time here on our episode, but I always like to ask a legacy question to get you to think about when that time, you know, does come hopefully many years from now, and you're thinking on your rocking chair about the things that you'd want to be most remembered for, personally or professionally, but really just your legacy, right? What do you think comes to mind as the most important things that you think you'd want to be most remembered for that legacy?
I have to go first on this.
You gotta go first on this one.
That's a deeper question.
Well, I think for me is like offering people hope. That's my middle name. And so there's always hope, right? In your business, in your family, no matter what your life, no matter what happens, there's always tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
Well, not always tomorrow, but there's always hope.
I love that.
Just sharing that with people.
Yeah, I think
it's going to be tough to beat.
I think I would like to get to a point where we've grown enough to where we can make an impact in the community here. You know, we have some, you know, we have such a great opportunity. Tampa Bay is an amazing area to live in, and there's a lot of, you know, philanthropy going on in Tampa Bay. We would love to get to the point where we can contribute more to the community, to where we can make that lasting impact, where people can remember us. You know, I would that way. I mean, I'm not saying put our name on stuff, but I just want to be able to give back.
You don't want to have buildings with Bock all over them?
I mean, that would be amazing. That'd be amazing. They have Bock beer.
The Bock building?
You know?
Bock football stadium.
Yes, yes.
Well, I think it's cool that, obviously in the money world that you guys are in, you're constantly dealing on loans to try to help people get a home.
Mhm.
And you mentioned hope, and a lot of people, that's their biggest investment, right? That's their, that's their nest egg. That's kind of where all their family memories are going to be established. So there's a lot of hope, I think, built into home ownership for many people. And so I think that's very aligned in many ways with what you mentioned already. But I want to put a bow on the episode with a challenge to the audience. And if anybody did want to reach out to you guys just to pick your brain a little bit more, maybe invite you to do some of your classes at their offices, or just connect with you in any way, what's the best way for somebody to reach out to you?
I mean, call my cell phone.
Okay. What would that be?
So that's 727-457-6498.
Cool.
They can also go on our website, bockmortgage.com. So that's another great way.
They can find us on Facebook.
Find us on Facebook. Yeah,
they're out there. All the socials.
Yeah, we're not hiding.
Cool. Make sure that it's in the description there as well.
Perfect.
But the way we end every episode is a challenge really to the audience. So anybody who took the time to watch this on any of the live streaming or 15 plus podcast platforms that we're on, what is one action step that you can take based on our conversation today with the Bocks, not the Brocks, that are going to make an impact on you personally or professionally? Just one thing. Tony Robbins preaches that concept of just making sure that you take action, right? And if you took the time to listen to the show and then take no action, you're probably going to forget a lot of what you invested in watching. And so maybe it's, again, learning more about the education side that you heard us talk about and how that can make an impact on your business. Maybe you need to ask some questions about certain products or services that can help you get to the next level. You heard us talk about some of the services with even some of the investor loans that are out there and some of those unique things that as a broker, the Bocks can provide and offer. Maybe it's one of the book recommendations that we just threw out there that you also want to pick up and read because you haven't had a chance to yet. But what is it, right? Just do one thing. Take action on one thing that can move you forward personally and professionally. If you do, then that was the whole purpose of being here today with the podcast. And so we will end by saying, check us out at topproducersnation.com. There you'll find our community, which is committed to serving agents all over the country and helping them become top producers in their desired market. We have a ton of resources on there, including courses, coaching, community forums, and other things to help you grow your business, as well as some of the best partners that are out there to help you grow your business as well. So we will see you there and on our next episode of the Top Producers Nation podcast. We'll see you guys later.